This is Steve here with the Leftenants. I call them the Leftenants. I kind of like the way Brits come up with these awesome ways of defining things. Like instead of a hood, which sounds like a hoodlum, they call it a bonnet, which is so much cooler, a bonnet on a car. Instead of a wrench, which just sounds like you just broke your ankle, they call it a spanner. And it spans time, and it spans the edges of a nut, and you are out of harm's way because you grabbed a spanner and you spanned your way into a different world, a different way of thinking, a different worldview, a spanner. Well, and they call a lieutenant a Leftenant, and I just like that because I'm from the left coast and I'm progressive and I'm blue as hell. I'm blue as hell, and I'm not red stop sign. Not even close, and we're not really big fans of red stop sign people. We prefer to just go over the cliff, to jump out of the helicopter, to change just because it's change and see what happens. We run over the hill to see what's on the other side, like humans have been doing for millions and millions of years. And so Leftenant is really appropriate for the night class, which is the 13,000 starting point. And that is important versus the earlier or lower classmates that are the Swabbies, because they're going to help bring along the remedials. They need some remedial too because they're not really ready for the leadership classes. Those are the three above the lieutenants. Those are where the big action happens. The big yachts, the big islands, the big mountain estates are going to happen in the class above the lieutenants. But in the lieutenant class, this would be the baker's dozen class, or the 13s, which we refer to as the night class. These are the ones who are going to learn to joust, who are going to drive Clydesdales, who are going to be the ship captains. All you need is 13,000. 13,000 can be put together in a week, or even in a weekend if you have the ability to leverage the internet to put some money together. And nobody's going to get the invite to the night class unless they can afford 13 large. I mean, that's less than 1% of a McDonald's franchise. It's nothing to start a business for 13,000. People do it every minute of every single day with just nothing that they get. They get a digital box they can resell. They make a lot of money selling that digital box. So essentially, they're buying a box, which gives them the ability to sell the box, and a couple of weeks later, they've made 100 large on their 13,000. That happens all the time on the internet. Most people don't even know that that's happening in the outside world, outside of the marketing world. And this is the starting point for jumping into the big time at 26,000 to 97,000, where you get access to your own dasha. That's Russian for summer house on one of our islands. That's yours and your group, your tribe, your contacts, your prospects if you use that asset, your own vessel, at least for 6 months or a year, where you're building a huge organization with the embedded models of this structure because you had your own vessel. Even if you don't come to the vessel, simply recruit in the area where that vessel operates. Here comes a big organization, and here comes a whole bunch of money. Pretty soon you bought your own vessel just out of the proceeds. Never mind the fact you get to keep using it long after you've no longer got all of the night candidates from that vessel. We don't like to use the word leads. We don't like nooses. We don't like leading people around by the nose with a nose ring. Fishing is for something else, not this noose and lead stuff. We've pitched most of this language. You call things by what everybody else does, and you just go right down the crapper with them. We don't do that. So the lieutenant, or the baker's dozen class, is 13,000, and it's a great class to start because it gives you access to the people in the upper class. So you kind of are on the cusp, or on the fence of greatness in the 13K class, and that's a big step up from the 65s, which for just 6,500 extra, you're in a much, much better position financially and for growth, for really, really rapid growth, because you get to play in the sandbox of the upper class mates that have already started ahead of you at 26,000 through 97,000. We'll talk about that in a different video, what those classes are about. But you're going to help the deckhands, the swabbies, the people in the 65s, and you're going to help your own classmates, and you're going to burn and earn your way through dilithium crystals and warp 13 engines, and how to use cloaking devices, and what to do with a media wiki farm or a network blog installation, and how to read star patterns, and how to set a square rig, and what it means to work on boat diesel and other things in the lieutenant class. There's a lot of leadership skills to be learned, and if you don't have your financial ducks in a row to be able to pounce right into the leadership classes, this is a great place to start. It's a really exciting group of people, the knights of the realm that are known as lieutenants. So don't be shy about picking one of the lower classes. There's a dividing line between the 13s and the leadership, and so these are kind of first two remedial or basic classes that aren't the big time. The big money is going to be made above the lieutenant class, but you could work your way into the leadership positions really quickly from this because you have access. There's a crack in the door there, and don't rule out picking the 13 class even if you're really uncomfortable, you don't trust yourself, or you just don't have the funds for whatever reason in your life currently. This very, very narrow window that's opened up, a wormhole is open. It's about to close. It's going to close quick, maybe a week or two, maybe a little longer. Can't guarantee how long. And get started. Just the big thing here is get started at one of these classes, and don't let this one slip by, because when the wormhole closes, it's going to get really, really hard to get into this. If you're going down the road a few weeks or a month, you don't have that time. You can't wait for your financial advisor to give you the go-ahead, the green light. You can't ask your mother-in-law if this is a good idea. You need to make this decision for yourself, not even your significant other. You take that time to decide as a couple. That could mean the couple's not in it. So take responsibility for this tap out, this night tap out that you're getting, and choose one of the classes. Don't be shy about choosing a lower class, a remedial class. That's okay.